Hello? Hello?
Oh,
Hello.
Hello?
Meeting will begin at
Hello?
9:30 in just a couple minutes.
Oh, okay, it's 9:30 now. Marcy's on from 2525 Thurman.
all right, Liz, it's 9:30. We can get started.
Good morning. My name is Liz Kukla. I'm the Secretary of the Board of Zoning Appeals. I'm going to read the preamble for you this morning, this Monday, August 15th, 2022. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law and section 101.021 of the codified ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the city planning department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comment on a particular matter. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Can you go ahead and call the roll, please?
Sure. Ms. Barnes,
Present.
Ms. Brown,
Present.
Ms. Holzer,
Present.
Ms. Faith. She may not be here today.
Yeah, I don't see her on.
I
And
believe she's not going to be here today.
Ms. Britt.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. And before we get to the postponements, just to let you know, normally we have 5 members, but today we have 4. So that means if you get a vote of 2-2, your case won't go anywhere. So you are allowed to postpone your case from today until we have a full complement. If not, we'll keep going. So once we read your case and you decide you want to postpone, just let us know at that time. Okay, Liz, with the postponements, please.
Thank you. Calendar number 22-134 regarding the public work invoice numbers and the hearing denial involved in this address at 6015 Linwood Avenue, Norman Brown owner. We were informed that the city representative would not be available to be present for this case, and so we need to postpone it today. And so we are thinking September 19th, if that works for you.
Okay.
So then the second one here is calendar number 22-112 regarding 3522 Clark Avenue. Charter Food Inc. proposed to establish a new Taco Bell at that address. At this time, the city staff is requesting a postponement to allow for this case to be reviewed by the City Planning Commission. As you can see from the description, this property is located in an urban form overlay district. So it is a conditional use of sorts that needs to be approved by City Planning Commission. And I believe that's going to happen as soon as possible. However, September 19th is really the first date that we can get them back on.
All right, that works for me.
Okay, thank you. And that's all that we have this morning.
All right, thank you. Looking at the agenda, I'm gonna do a little rearranging today, and we're gonna start with Mr. Sissimus first. He's been very patient in letting us get through everything we need to get through for his case. So I want to hear his case first so we can let him go and do his business. So Ms. Holzer, we're gonna read case number 22-126.
Got it. All right, so calendar number 22-126, denial of John's Hot Dogs vendor license. John Sissimus, aka John's Hot Dogs owner, appeals under the authority of section 76-6 of the Charter of the City of Cleveland and section 32902D of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances to dispute the decision of the Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses to deny vendor's license RLUMF 22-0005 based upon input from the councilman, from Councilman McCormick. This case was first postponed at the request of the board to allow time to get a full file from licenses and assessments and to confer with the councilman. The second postponement was made at the request of the board to allow time for the appellant to meet with the Division of Sidewalks. And with that, I'll hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply I do, state your name and your address, please.
I do. Robert Knapp, Junior, PE, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
I do. LaRonda Talton, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
I do. John Sissimus, 3120 Superior Avenue.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is appealing the denial of Commissioner of Assessments and Licenses of appellant's request for vendor's license RLUMF 22-0005. Section 329.02D of the Code of Ordinances provides in pertinent part that within its powers, the board may reverse or affirm wholly or in part or modify the order, requirement, decision, or determination appealed from, and shall make such order, requirement, decision, or determination as in its opinion ought to be made under the circumstances, and to that end shall have all the powers of the office from whose decision the appeal is taken. Thus, the board may undertake a de novo review of Commissioner's decision and make whatever determination it seems fit under the circumstances.
All right, thank you. Ms. Kukla, can you just give us a quick summary of what we know so far?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We've had, I believe, 3 hearings on this. The first hearing, we did not have any representative of the council person there to explain the denial that is in the documents that we received from the city. It's my understanding that the Assessments and License Department will deny license appeals for the hot dog vendors if there is a denial from the council person. So I guess that's at least 2-step process in these reviewing these license cases. So we've had some trouble getting hold of the council person. At the last hearing, the second hearing, I believe, we did have a representative from Sidewalks to state that they would like to do an additional review because they were not able to get an accurate distance measurement due to construction. So we postponed it one more time, and here we are today. I believe, well, we do have an email from the representative from Sidewalks. He did state that the distance is outside of the 100 feet that it is required. So I don't know if you remember, these hot dog vendor locations need to be 100 feet away from a restaurant. And also to remind you, the council person denied it based on its proximity to those restaurants. So here's what we know now, that the sidewalk person has confirmed that this is not within 100 feet of a restaurant. And so again, we haven't been able to get anything in writing from the council person approving it after this new information. So his denial of this still stands. So today, with this information, the board can consider whether or not he should be, whether or not this review was arbitrary and capricious and that the license should be approved. I think I've covered that all there for you.
Great, thank you. Although you covered the summary from Sidewalks, we do have Mr. Knopf here. So Mr. Knopf, if you just want to briefly give us what happened when you guys went out.
Correct. Yeah, it's we met with the hot dog vendor. We ended up going and measuring from the location that he was requesting, and we found that he was in compliance with all five. I think it was 5 criteria that were given to go and review his location for.
Great, thank you. Ms. Talton, did you want to add in anything before I go to the board?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we've seen that, but with this case, with all the information that we have before us, that the decision was arbitrary and capricious to deny Mr. Sissimus his vendor's license. So I'll open up to the board for any follow-up questions and/or motion.
Madam Chair, if my colleagues have no questions, I'll move with a motion.
Oh, Ms. Faith, you are here. Wonderful.
Yes, I messaged you. I was having some tech issues this morning.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but I'm here.
Great.
Yeah, so I think we appreciate the efforts of the various departments within the city, particularly those that went out and met the vendor at the site and did the measurements and reviewed the situation for us. Since we were unable to get any specific information from the councilman, we know he has a loaded schedule. And so I think the evidence that we've heard today bears that we can go ahead and overturn the decision of the denial for Mr. Sissimus. So I move that we go ahead and approve Mr. Sissimus's vendor's license.
Second.
All right, we have a second from Ms. Barnes, and we're just saying that we are overturning the denial of his license. We can't issue his license, but.
Right.
All right, thank you. Call the roll, please.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith. Sorry, I didn't hear Ms. Faith. Sorry about that.
I saw her say yes, but I think she's muted.
Yeah, I had,
Okay.
yes, I was muted, so I'm saying yes.
Thank you. Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 22-126 is granted. It'll be ratified next Monday and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Mr. Sissimus.
Okay, thank you very much for everything. I'm just gonna wait for a letter you're saying and then wait for the councilman's to overturn or from license and assessments. So I
Yep.
know I can start going back to the location, or how's that gonna work?
So Madam Chair, we will send the appellant a letter and a copy of the resolution. We also send license and assessments a copy of that resolution. What happens after that is license and assessments process. I'm not sure if Ms. Dalton is still on the call to address that or not.
Yes, once we receive a copy of the resolution, then we'll issue Mr. Sissimus's license.
So I have to wait then till I get, you guys send me that license before I can start going back out there.
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You're
All
welcome.
right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, Ms. Holzer, we'll start with go back to the first case, unless anyone see any council people on today.
I did not see any. And
All right.
thank you to Ms. Holzer for taking on the job of reading the cases.
Big
My
shoes
voice-
to fill.
My voice appreciates that.
Happy to do it. All
Thank
right.
you.
So we're going to start off with, let's see, calendar number 22-131 at 1514 Mayview Avenue. Karen O'Malley proposes to erect a 6-foot-high wooden shadow box fence with gates in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, as stated in the agenda in the public record, of which there are 2. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Barnes for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand. Reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Mike O'Malley, 1514 Mayview.
I do. Darling Glass, 4274 Pearl Road.
Okay, anyone else? Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. There's been no change in the zoning since 1929. In our Records Administration Office, we found that in 1941, a permit was issued to erect a dwelling in a garage. There are no variances on file and nothing of note in the more recent history. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the fencing regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
All right, thank you. Who will be the spokesperson for this case?
I will.
And that is?
I'm Mike O'Malley.
Oh, Mr. O'Malley. Okay, go ahead.
Howdy. So first, thank you for your time. And I'd like to explain how I got here, and then I'm going to describe the fence, and then I would like to run through the legal standard. We're seeking a non-use variance, specifically relief from strict application of the height and setback requirements contained in 35804A. We contend that we are not in violation of 358.03A, as our fence is not parallel to our driveway. It runs between 7 and 17 feet. It runs at a 10-degree angle away from our driveway, and at 7 feet away from the sidewalk, this angle expands to 45 degrees. However, if this is insufficient, we would also like to seek relief from the strict application of the height and openness requirements contained in 358.03A. So when we first moved in last fall, there was a fence that was falling apart. The boards were broken, the posts were rotted out, and the first thing we wanted to do is replace it. Before doing so, I looked at the fence ordinance, and I thought I could replace that half of the fence under 358.06H. Only after we completed were we informed that under 358.07C, we couldn't change the footers, which we did. In replacing the fence, it was a family thing. I got a bunch of my friends and family together to do it. We built the 6-foot tall fence running along substantially the same path with certain minor alterations. As discussed, the driveway is slightly different from the former path, which was parallel. And we moved the fence a few feet towards along South Hills towards Mayview because we ran into a tree stump that we couldn't bore through to pour the posts. But those two differences aside, the fence is in substantially the same location as the prior fence. Turning to the legal requirements, as I understand it, the fence must not result in a reduction of property values. The property owner must not cause the need for the variance, and the variance must not be contrary to the spirit of the zoning ordinance. Our fence is very nice compared to the old one, a definite improvement in the value. It certainly looks better. So I wouldn't say it's hurting property values. While we wouldn't be here had I not misread the statute, I would point that we would have been forced to seek a variance eventually, as the former fence was on the brink of collapse. It was held up by wires and stakes put into the yard. And I would say that the true need for the fence predates my mistake, as it's caused by factors which inhere in the property. Our location adjacent to a park on a busy street, and the high foot traffic that causes there, that goes in front of our home, the USPS mailbox in front of our house, the rise upon which our house sits, there's about 1.5 feet, but our yard is about 1.5 feet above the sidewalk beyond the fence. And the fact that we're sitting on a corner plot all contribute to it. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Don't worry about it. Go ahead. You're doing fine.
And then turning to the next requirement, the fence is not contrary to the spirit of the zoning ordinance. 358.01 establishes that the regulations of this chapter are established to promote fences in a manner that promotes safety and security while protecting and enhancing the appearance and character of the neighborhood and business districts. As discussed, we changed the angle to enhance pedestrian safety. It gives us more visibility. And the height of it ensures that our dog can't get out. We have a rescue who's a little nervous and sometimes aggressive, and she's also very good at jumping. And at my girlfriend's mother's house, she would regularly escape a 4-foot fence. So we figured we needed to go higher. And then turning to security, the height and the sheer surface that we put in help to prevent break-ins. Appearance and character. The fence height is not unprecedented, as I will discuss when we go through the Duncan factors.
No, we don't have to go through the Duncan factors, Mr. O'Malley. So I think you're doing a good job of telling us your case without going through the Duncan factors. We already read them at the beginning. I know you're new at this, so you're a little nervous, but yeah, we don't need to hear those. So
okay.
I think you've gone through your reasonings of why you have this fence and why it is the way it is. So I'm gonna ask Ms. Glass, is there anything you wanted to add here?
I just wanted to add, I'm here representing the Old Brooklyn Community Development Corporation. Kind of brought in on these appeals to kind of check it out and make sure it goes along with what's going on in the neighborhood. Currently, it is consistent with a lot of different fences on that street and in our neighborhood that kind of run along those side lots. It is, his fence is the same height as all those fences. He's made a lot of improvements in this house since purchasing it last year. And the fence looks really nice. I've been over there. I have a background in construction. It's very structurally sound, way better than the one that was there. I'm familiar with this property. I actually don't live too far from there. So we're in favor of keeping this fence up at the way it is. I think he's done a nice job. It looks really nice. And for all the reasons that he stated, I think it's necessary.
Great, thank you. Maurice, are you going to represent city planning today for this?
I am, Madam Chair. So we're looking at, as already has been stated multiple times, variances to our general fence regulations. It's unfortunate that we're looking at an as-built and they didn't come before it was constructed, so that's unfortunate. My only comment is I think that I would have liked to have seen, I prefer to see shadow box fences just because they add a little bit more level of transparency to the fence. Whereas this, although a nicely constructed fence and it does look very, very sturdy, does present more like a wall as opposed to the shadow box fences, which are a little bit more open. And because of the tree on the corner next to the driveway, they really had to do a kind of a chamfered angle there. So I think they've pulled it back enough to provide them with enough clearance to be able to see oncoming pedestrians. So we have no objections to this fence.
Great, thank you. Board, any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I think this looks like as the CDC representative stated, a sturdy and well-constructed fence. It certainly it will add protection for the dog, the rescue animal that has some behavior issues. So that's of importance, in my opinion. And to Mr. O'Malley, we call this forgiveness instead of seeking request. So when something is up like this already, but I think we've heard approval or support for this. And so, Madam Chair, I move that we go ahead and approve the variances for calendar number 22-131.
Great, thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Second from Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Olzer,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 22-131 is granted. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, good luck, Mr. O'Malley. And for your first run, I have to say you did a very good job going through everything. So good luck with your fence. Just make sure you interpret things a little bit better next time so you don't have to come see us.
Will do. Thank you for your time, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Nice job, Mr. O'Malley. Okay.
All right, next up.
All right, so next up, we're going to be hearing both calendar. We're going to listen hear 22-135 and 137 together. That is at 6016 St. Clair Avenue, both the rear and front. Sorry, my computer is acting up this morning. Okay, so we have Anna Louise Real Estate LLC proposes to establish use as dog training school that includes boarding of dogs in a C1 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland codified ordinances as stated in the public record and the agenda, of which there is one for both calendar 22135 and 137. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Thank you. I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Anna Rentz, 6016 St. Clair, Cleveland, Ohio, 44103.
Anyone else, please?
Jeremy. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. You can go, Jeremy.
I don't know if I need to do this now, but Jeremy Taylor, St. Clair Superior Development Corporation. Would I give
the address of St. Clair Superior Development Corporation would be fine.
Thank you. 3615 Superior Avenue, Suite 3101B, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I do. Jenna Gautner, 950 Main Avenue.
Okay.
One more, just in case. Justin Stevenson with Anna Rentz, 2515 J Avenue, Suite 101, Cleveland, Ohio, 44113.
Thank you. Madam Chair.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned semi-industry in 1929. In 2002, it was placed in the Live Work Overlay District. And in 2004, it was changed to Local Retail Business District. And actually, this is for both addresses, front and rear, of course. In our records administration office, we found that in 1936, a permit was issued to demolish a two-story frame dwelling. And then in 1937, a permit was issued to erect a new building for a funeral home. That building was identified as a two-story building. And then, Madam Chair, I believe that is all that I have that is relevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Okay, for both cases, Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance from the regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variances, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right.
Madam Chair, could I add one more thing? This is Liz.
Sure.
The garage was erected in 1921. I did find that there was a one-story garage erected on the property in 1921. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who will be the spokesperson for this case?
I will be. Anna
And-
Rentz.
All right, Ms. Rentz, go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. I am the owner of Anna Louise Real Estate and also Boss K9. I am looking to establish a dog training facility at this location. As you see, there is the front building and also the rear building. Right now, we are currently operating out of a building in Slavic Village. So this is our expansion. We've been in business for over 3 years now, and we're really excited to find a property that is essentially built exactly the way that we need it to be able to just expand into our new location where we can service more clients and more dogs in the Cleveland neighborhood and surrounding areas, and also be able to create more jobs. Currently, I have 9 employees, and with this expansion, I'm going to be able to at least double the amount of dogs that we take for our training, which is also going to probably around double the amount of employees that we have. So we're really excited for this expansion and all that we're going to be able to do. An essential part of what we do and how we do it is the boarding aspect, and that is specific to our clients. So this isn't like a quote unquote boarding facility. This is a dog training facility. And one of the main ways that we do this training is through a board and train, where they would come and stay with us for X amount of time as we train them. So there are, in my plans, you can also see, you know, some of the other elements of our business and what we do. For example, in the front building, there will be a pet shop. So we do sell products. We are a dealer for several different products in the dog industry, such as the equipment that we use. We sell crates, treadmills for dogs, treats, I mean, all sorts of stuff. We also provide grooming services specifically to our clients as well. So it's a very like close-knit, kind of like membership style with our clients, with the services that we provide specifically to them.
Great. What will your days and hours of operation will be for this business?
We are open every day, since it is that boarding aspect of it. And right now our hours are 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. We are by appointment only, so that isn't open door to just anyone, but that is when my employees will be there on site. As far as hours of operation with seeing clients and whatnot, it is typically between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. or so.
Okay. Ms. Gautner, did you have anything you wanted to add here?
Not at this time. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Stevenson?
Yeah, I would just briefly note that having known this business, you know, I know that they do great work, and you know, the goal of the purchase here was to use this a property specifically for the expansion of this business. So this would serve that goal, and not being able to use that would kind of prevent Anna from seeing this property be as productive as it possibly could be, we think, in this neighborhood. We also think, you know, that there's not going to be a significant amount of increased traffic, that would result in any sort of increased noise or any sort of increased congestion in the neighborhood that would be atypical of the local retail district zone. Anna mentioned that they do, in fact, mostly operate by appointment only. So it's not like there's a large stream of people going in and out. They will be not just operating as the dog training, but serving the neighborhood with the pet supplies and the dog training, and serving the local residents of the neighborhood by, you know, offering them some ability to bring their dogs in and have them trained and have a better and safer neighborhood overall as a result of the services that they provide. And I also believe that, correct me if I'm wrong, Anna, but at the previous location, they've never received any sort of noise or any other sort of complaints from any of the residents or anyone in the neighborhood. They've always operated very efficiently and quietly, so to speak. So, you know, we think this would be a great use of the property.
Yes, that is correct. We have never received any noise complaints or anything. It's actually quite quiet. This is not your average dog facility type of environment. We are not a doggy daycare. You don't walk in and there's chaos. It's very structured. A lot of these dogs are coming in with issues, and those are issues that we are addressing very quickly with these dogs, getting them comfortable in their new environment. And I have also invited Jeremy, who's on this call from the St. Clair Superior CDC, and I've also have invited my councilwoman, Stephanie House, who have come to the facility just to show them like how just literally how peaceful it is when you walk into the shop. There are not dogs barking, and it is not chaos. So I think that's a really important note of just who we are and the work that we do.
Great, thank you. Mr. Taylor was going to be my next call, so go ahead, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, just to echo Anna, Councilwoman House and I, first, you know, Anna reached out when she was first interested in this property, the old Zach's Funeral Home, which I own a property on East 60th and St. Clair, and I can tell you that the community is really excited. It's it's kind of a pillar building in the community. It's right across from Shaliga Drug, and it's in kind of our economic district on St. Clair Avenue. Councilwoman House and I, Anna reached out, invited Councilwoman House and I before she bought the building, kind of talk about the building, see if it would be a feasible location, and try to, you know, let the community know that she's interested in and tell us about what she did. And she invited us to her location on Fleet, and it's definitely a peaceful place. And then Councilwoman House's office also, we did a tour of this facility, and it really is a really nice location for something like this. They have ample parking, a good store, a good front on the St. Clair Avenue, and then plenty of room in the back. There is, you can kind of see on this map there that there are some residential houses, but there's also a church and it's abutted by St. Clair or St. Vitus Church in St. Martin de Porres. We are in support of this. We're committed to working with Anna to help her get support for this property. She's been very communicative, very open to different ideas. I don't know if she's mentioned this yet, but she's also moving into that property, which I think really just speaks to her commitment to just community in the neighborhood. And we're really excited about this. Again, it's really a historical facility. There's that old Zex Funeral Home. It's awesome that something like a business like Anna's Boss Canines wants to be taking over that location. And we think it's going to help make the neighborhood safer, more vibrant, and really be a great flagship project, kind of showcasing the revitalization of a St. Clair Superior neighborhood. And, you know, just one last thing, just we have a number of really strong women-owned businesses, and we're really excited to have another one.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'll open it up to my board for any questions or comments.
Madam Chair, did city planning weigh in on this?
Oh, that might be a good thing, huh?
Maybe. I
got
don't.
so many raving reviews from everyone else. I guess
I
I figured
know.
city planning was not
Let's see
needed.
if we. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
I
Maurice.
thought you had forgotten me. Absolutely not. We don't like this. No, I'm just kidding. So I had to say that just because of what you said. So obviously the applicant is seeking a variance to the use regulations in a local retail district. So the dog training aspect of this use is a permitted use in the local retail district. It's the boarding aspect that is not permitted in this use district. And I just wanted to remind the board of the requirements when viewing this type of use in a general retail area. Actually, the code states that they have to evaluate the overall tranquility of the surrounding properties by considering all odors, noises, and fumes that will emanate from the lot on which the applicant kennel is located. And I have to say that from the descriptions from everybody, it sounds like they've never had any issues with that in their previous location. I have had a chance to talk to Kim Scott, the neighborhood planner for the area, and she recommends approval of this project as well. She had also heard from the councilwoman, that she supported this as well. So we definitely support this use.
Great, thanks, Maurice, and thanks, Ms. Faye, for including Maurice because I forgot about him that quick.
We can't forget Maurice.
We cannot.
All right.
Oh, all right, I'll entertain a motion if there are no other questions.
If my colleagues have no other questions, I'll move to a motion, Madam Chair. There are more U.S. households that have dogs than have children. So that is a trust for public land factoid that I love to use. So this sort of facility, particularly with the uniqueness of this, a little different than what we see as typical doggy daycare. So I think this is, we've had support from everyone on board, city planning, the council person, the CDC, and we love when that happens. So with that, Madam Chair, I move that we go ahead and approve the variances for calendar number 22-135 and 22-137.
Thank you. And I'll just add this friendly amendment before the second that the hours of operations testified is from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. by appointment only, but they're open every day. All right, and then we have a second by Ms. Barnes. Go ahead, call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Faith,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar numbers 22-135 and 22-137 are granted. They will both be ratified next week, and we will send the appellant a letter.
Excellent.
Right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good
luck,
luck.
Ms. Ritz.
Good luck.
Yeah. All righty. Moving on.
So, and we're going to, okay. We're going to calendar number 22-73 at 1725 Holmden Avenue. This is postponed from July 18th, 2022. Fisher and Payne LLC owner proposes to change use of existing two-family dwelling to three-family dwelling located in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and public record, of which there are 3. This case was first postponed on June 6th at the request of the councilwoman to allow for more time for community review. A second postponement was made at the request of the appellant to allow for time to meet with the local community group for a second time. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
I'm swearing in all who are present for this case. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise your hand, reply, I do. State your name and your address, please.
I do. Tom Fisher, 8701 Ansonia, Brooklyn, Ohio.
I do. Corey Reardon, Tremont West Development Corporation, 2406 Professor.
Madam Chair.
Thank you. Did we get to the history of the property last time?
No, Madam Chair, we did not.
Okay, go ahead, please.
I don't have much to share, only that there's been no change in the zoning. There are no variances on file. We didn't find any records in the Records Administration Office, but we did find that in our more recent history in the Acela system, in 2007, a permit was issued to correct violations to 3-family unit. And that's all that I have for you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the minimum lot area, maximum gross floor area, and parking regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Fisher.
He was here.
He was here. Do we lose him?
There he is. He was on mute. Sir?
To unmute, please use *6.
I'm through a browser. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I was out of state for work. Just so happened they for the neighborhood meeting they were unable to do a Zoom meeting, so I think we might need to postpone this again unless the members from the neighborhood made a decision while I was not there.
Okay, Mr. Reardon, was there a meeting without him or no?
There was a neighborhood meeting that was held. This was just briefly discussed. They remain opposed because of the issues that they that we brought up previously, which is this is not currently meeting code. They're using the garage for a business, and there's rumors of additional uses within the building, more than just the 3 units potentially in the basement, etc. So until those things are cleaned up, the neighborhood is going to continue to be opposed. And I believe you received additional information on the opposition of the councilwoman. So we have made efforts. We have told him, we've told Mr. Fisher when meetings are. He has yet to really be able to make those meetings. So the community is sort of set in, they're opposed until there are actions taken that show good faith in cleaning up the property that has been a nuisance for a number of years. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Fisher. So how many, before I go to him, Mr. Reardon, how many meetings has he missed? Just one or several?
2 block club meetings. He did make an economic development committee meeting, but because he hadn't been to the block club, the economic development committee did not want to reschedule with him until he had gone to the block club. And like I said, there are substantial issues with the property continually brought up by neighbors, the garage being used for a hair cutting business, the attic being utilized for a 3rd unit, potentially also people stating that they thought there were more units in there. Additionally, when Mr. Fisher gave testimony, I believe, to this board that he had evicted someone from the attic unit, that attic unit resident moved downstairs to the mother's unit. So there's all sorts of interesting things going on. Until that's sorted, I can't see, even if he goes to the block club, I can't see there being a resolution because of the problems with this property. And this picture, well, that former picture that was just up was indicative of the condition of the property, and the neighbors have a lot of issues with it.
Understood. Okay, well, board, it'll be up to you whether you feel like he should get another postponement or if you want to just hear the case today.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I feel that if he's willing to try to clean it up before we make a decision, that would be totally up to him. But I'm for us counseling and making a postponement. It's only up to him if he's willing to clean up what he's messing up.
All right, that's one. Any other board members?
Madam Chair, I'd be interested to hear from the appellant that if he could make substantial changes in the appearance and the debris that's in the yard and address the people, the occupants, if he could do that within 30 days. Or is he going to be out of town for work?
Mr. Fisher?
To the board, yes, I am more than capable to have things cleaned up. I'm not exactly sure when these pictures were taken. I do have a whole maintenance staff and team, but these tenants, they were taking care of the property, obviously not well enough. I did put in a request after our last meeting to get things cleaned up, but we are quite busy and backed up. I'll make it a high priority to have this property cleaned up. I do kind of take it personally, but I'm choosing not to, about certain rumors and things like that. I mean, I hate to say rumors are not facts. There is no attic unit. Everything is on the blueprints as stated. Yes, we did kick out a tenant. If the tenant moved to the first floor, that gives me grounds to evict the person on the first floor. So that information was definitely good to get. And we will verify that as well. As far as the garage goes, someone using it for a side business, I can't, I could try to oppose that and tell them not to do that. But I can't sit and babysit the property. As far as the basement, I personally have been in the basement, and there's definitely no one or way for someone to be living down there. I will make sure my property management staff gets over there immediately to address all those issues to make sure and verify that, where we did evict the person, they did move out of the property altogether, not just into the first floor unit. I will get pictures to show that there is no one living in the basement or the attic as well to suffice the neighborhood. And yeah, we will also clean up the property. I have no problem with any of that at all. I try to hold our properties to higher standards. I've already put tens of thousands of dollars into this property to make it nicer, and the last thing I'd want is the neighborhood to be unhappy with me. So,
all right, Mr. Fisher. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you 30 days. Now, what I don't want to happen is what's happening today. If you realize that you don't have things done and you wait until the hearing to say, I don't have things done, I need a postponement, because you will not get it the next time. So make sure that you have everything you need to have done before we give you a new date. And that date is approaching and you realize that you don't have things, you know, in order that you need to have in order, you know, contact Ms. Kukla and, you know, try to, you know, get you know, a newer date. Like, you know, if you say, I got everything done except for this, you know, the fence or something like that, you know, like that's reasonable. But just make sure you contact Ms. Kukla before you get in the hearing and ask for a postponement because you won't get it the next time.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Thank you.
Liz, can we get, you know, 30 days in a week, maybe date?
Yeah, Madam Chair, if we could do September 26th, that works the best. September 19th is getting.
It's getting loaded up.
Mhm.
All right. So Mr. Fisher, we'll give you till September 26th. And like you said, like I said, if you realizing that you're coming up with some issues that you might need a little bit longer, let us know before this hearing, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Chair, Mr. Reardon has his hand raised.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Ritter.
Just a couple questions to clarify. He says he's done tens of thousands of work. There is no indication that he's pulled permits for any of that work. That's part of the concerns. I would like to see, you know, the permits pulled to make this unit or, you know, the attempts to make these improvements through the city of Cleveland done the right way. And he also stated that it's not his job to police the business. If everybody in the community knows that there's a business being run out of a garage, which includes where the parking spaces would be for the other units, it is his responsibility as the landlord to enforce, you know, restrictions on how the property is utilized. Tremont West owns 20 units. I don't have these problems in any of my units. My units are also for low and moderate income individuals, 80% AMI. I get no complaints about how my units are managed. So it's not about that. You have to be a good property manager. We have questions about the out of state or out of town nature of this property manager asking for more when he hasn't proven that he is capable of doing the bare minimum of cleaning up the property. So those are our concerns and those will remain. If Mr. Fisher makes an effort, I would assume that there's building permits pulled as part of those efforts to improve the property, not just tens of thousands of work that we have no idea how to track because there's no permits pulled.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ritter. All right, Mr. Fisher, you have until 9/26 to get all this together.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Ms. Faith, were you going to add something?
The only addition that I had, and I was going to make this comment before Mr. Reardon spoke, is that I think inclusive to preparations needs to be the meeting with the community and the economic development meeting. So if that can all happen in 30 days, great. Otherwise, as you instructed him, he needs to call Ms. Kukla to get an extended date. Because I would like to see all of that in his presentation package when he comes back. And that was
Great.
prior to
Thank you.
Mr. Reardon speaking.
Great, thank you very much, Ms. Faith. All right. Thank you. Next case.
All right, our next case is calendar number 22-111 at 2525 Thurman Avenue. This was postponed from July 18th, 2022. Orly Cohen LLC owner proposes to create one concrete parking space and new drive apron to existing single-family residents in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances, as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are two. This case was postponed on July 18th to allow time for the appellant to meet with the community to consider an alternate parking agreement. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Brown for the oath.
Okay, swearing in all who are present for this case, do you swear or affirm that your testimony that you're about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Please raise
I
your
swear.
hand, reply, I do, then state your name and your address, please.
I do. Marcy Setka at 2525 Thurman Avenue.
I do. Corey Reardon, Tremont West Development Corporation, 2406 Purpose.
Anyone else for this case? Hey, Madam Chair.
Liz, I did believe we got history of the property last time, correct?
Yes, we did, Madam Chair.
All right, legal standard, please.
Madam Chair, members of the board, appellant is requesting area variances from the parking regulations of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Upka, tell us what happened since the last time you were here.
Well, I was just kind of hoping and praying that you guys would approve it. Nothing's really happened. I've been driving around to see where possibly anyone could park. There's really nowhere to park. It's a narrow one-way street. As I mentioned before, you know, there's altercations with neighbors. You literally can't park anywhere, and I'm just begging you guys to approve me. That's all.
All right, I don't think that's what we asked for. Mr. Reardon, was there any work with you on trying to attempt to be park somewhere else?
Well, if you recall, I gave my contact information, including email and phone number.
Correct.
I was not contacted. We would still be in opposition of this because it would set a precedent for that entire street. It would say it would create pedestrian conflicts in the front. We could look at parking arrangements. It would probably be a pay situation. There's a parking lot behind Theodosius that has been used by residents in a pay situation previously. I would ask, is the appellant the homeowner, or is this a rental unit, or is it being utilized as an Airbnb? Because it is an LLC. I question who is creating the parking conflicts, because we did have the homeowners.
The homeowners. We're homeowners.
You occupy that building?
No, it's under construction. We cannot physically occupy, not yet, till the construction ends.
Plan on being the homeowner occupant of that? Sorry, Madam Chair, I should direct that through you.
Yes. No problem. All right, so Ms. Sepka, once the construction is complete, you will be occupying this residence, correct?
Well, we are not sure. We are 50-50 because we travel a lot. But temporarily, yes, we will be occupying that property. And then, you know, later on, hopefully we will sell it, or, you know, we're not going to Airbnb it and we're not going to rent it. That's for sure.
Okay. All right. Well, seems like Ms. Sepka just wants a board decision. City planning, you want to chime in here?
Madam Chair, Maurice Rowland, City Planning. I have to concur with Mr. Reardon in this situation. This would be setting a bad precedent to allow us to install a parking lot or a parking space in front of a building under open windows within 10 feet of the residential structure. Just something we almost never do. I do understand that there is no other parking right immediately on the site, but as Mr. Reardon stated, there is parking. There's actually some parking on Starkweather, and there is parking on the adjacent streets over there. I believe that's St. Theodosius. So there is parking in the neighborhood, and again, it might be a pay parking situation. But we do not recommend approval of granting this variance for parking in the front yard setback.
It's not about a parking situation. It's just really far. We don't mind to pay to park. It's just really far. That's a narrow, long, one-way street, and there's never any parking there. I can drive there and take videos and present it. And everybody else, just so you know, parks in the front lawn because there's nowhere to park there. So you might as well make it an ordinance so people legally park and they're not running over sewers. That's just my opinion.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Reardon, one more time. Would you?
Just in the parking in the setback, people get ticketed quite often because I receive the phone calls when they get tickets for parking in the setback on Thurman. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, board, looks like we have to make a decision today, so if you have any further questions or comments, go ahead. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, and if my colleagues have no questions, I'll move with a motion. Thurman is very narrow. I'm familiar with the street. It is one way. Those are existing conditions, so that is something that those persons that purchase property on that street need to be aware of. The unfortunate situation is that when we heard this case, originally, we postponed it so that there could be work between the property owner and the CDC and perhaps city planning on coming up with alternative parking arrangements, and that apparently did not happen. So today, we're left to make a decision, and my motion is that we deny the variances for this case.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Yes, you may, Ms. Barnes, second.
Ms. Barnes with the second. Go ahead, call the roll.
Ms. Holzer,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Bates,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar number 22-111 is denied. It'll be ratified next Monday, and we will send the appellant a letter.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I believe that's it, right? We're on to old
Yes, ma'am.
business. All right, old business 1 and 2 without objection, board.
Without objection.
Without
Without
objection.
objection.
Okay, and Liz, what's going on with the dismissed cases here?
Thank you, Madam Chair. If you remember last week, we had 3 no-shows.
Yes.
Before you are the short description of each of those cases. And the bold print tells us what the applicants communicated with me when I spoke with them last week. Mr. Taylor for Union Avenue stated that he was in the hospital at the time of the hearing, was not able to make it. So that's for the 7407 Union Avenue. Calendar number 22-103 at 3623 East 103rd Street. The applicant owner stated that he needed to be away on business unexpectedly, so he wasn't able to make it. And then for the 22-89 1127 Parkwood, the appellant claims that she did not receive the link. And she contacted me on Tuesday and was asking where the link was and wasn't sure if maybe she had mixed the dates up or so on and so forth. So she did contact me right away, but we did confirm that her correct email address was on the notification list.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just for the record, when I found out about this, I went back and looked at our email that we sent out to all of the applicants. And in fact, her email address was on the contact list, so we did send her the link. I can't verify whether she got it, but she was on the list, and an email did go to her account that we have used to contact her about other issues.
Yeah, this is where this excuse is starting to get used more and more about not receiving the link. So
So, Madam Chair, if I could say one thing to the new members, if you deny the reinstatement, the applicant will have to apply again with us. They do not have to go all the way back to Building and Housing. They would just have to reapply with us and pay the fee to process their appeal again. So, you know, and then that would give them approximately a 30-day or more waiting period. If you do decide to reinstate it, they will also get the 30 days. They just will not have to pay that additional application fee.
all right, so I'm inclined to reinstate the Union case. I think being in the hospital is a legitimate excuse. and being away on business, you can still contact us to let us know that you're going to be away on business, as well as not receiving the. So I will leave it up to the board to make a decision on those three, but that's where I stand on those.
I stand with you, Madam Chair.
I agree.
Okay, Ms. Brown?
I agree with you.
I don't object.
Okay, so we will reinstate calendar number 22-132 and calendars numbers 22-103 and 089 will have to come back through BZA.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. Meeting adjourned.
Quick
Have a
one.
good
Okay.
day.
Thank you, everyone.
Great,
Uh,
everyone have a good week.
To Liz and Kelly, you got my email about next Monday? Okay,
Yes.
Yes.
thank you.
Sorry for your
All
loss.
right. Yes.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes, we're very sorry for your loss.
absolutely. Condolences.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It has been